goal. Danowski said earlier this week it might be the best goaltender they face all year.
Penn State transfer was outstanding in South Bend. Now here's the deal in this game. If Richmond's going to pull off the upset, I think Jack's got to make 15 to 18 stops. Why? Well, that's a formula for an upset, but I don't think Richmond's going to win very many face-offs. So the possession advantage will be in Duke's favor. It's up to Russ Bolt to shut the door and pull this one off.
A school record 22 saves last week against Notre Dame, and Coach Dan Chamati said, look, I just asked way too much of my defense last week because his offense is struggling so much and his team is struggling at the face-off X. That's where his number one guy, Andrew Hamilton, has been out the last 2.5 games, and he's having to piecemeal now trying to figure out how to win face-offs.
Here's the deal about Richmond, okay? Defensively, I like their goaltender, Russ Bolt, a lot. You'll see some man and some zone packages defensively. Offensively, they are highly skilled. I mean, they can zing it. Remember, they led Maryland this year 12-7 in the fourth quarter. The biggest issue for Richmond offensively is can they make penetration off the dodge? You know, can they beat you off the dribble? Because they're highly skilled if they can get this Duke defense in motion.
34, Mick Burton is going to take the initial draw for Richmond, and he's going to go against Jordan Ginder, and Ginder wins the first one. We're just going to keep an eye on that face-off X all game because that's going to be a key position battle in this game today. Russ Bolt in net for Richmond. He just sees a lot of rubber. 15 saves a game averaging. That's 8th in the country.
Righty from Richmond, Virginia. Spent a year at Penn State as Richmond's D now shifts into a zone.
Bad pass for Duke. Is a turnover. They had 25 in their last game against Penn. That ain't going to get it done, and they get their first one here today.
The tenor of our talk with John Danowski this week was really unlike any we've ever had with him. Just sloppy, self-imposed mistakes in that loss to Penn. It's one thing to be outplayed, but it's another to lose because of self-inflicted wounds.
I guess the positive thing coming out of that, and he was so disappointed in his team, he just couldn't figure out what was going on with them after playing a great game in Denver and a terrible game against Penn, was even when you played a terrible game, you were still in it late, and you only lost by 3 goals, and you were really right in it until late in that game.
I think 2 things that stand out. Making better decisions defensively, and then getting some production from their first midfield. 2 things Duke has to do.
Still 33 seconds to shoot for Richmond. Here's Savoca. Spiders turn the corner, but the ball is lost. That was Ryan Dunn trying to find some space defensively. Duke knocks it away and creates a turnover themselves. Here comes Terry Lindsay, most experienced member of this rope unit for the Blue Devils.
The second midfield has been far more productive than the first for Duke.
Bador, Caputo, and Lowry, you got to wonder how much time they're going to get compared to that first midfield unit. Q. Coach talked about the chemistry between all 3 of them and how much it has worked so far this year.
Yeah, skill sets that complement one another. Lowry, the veteran, he's tall, good mid-range shot. Bador's become more of a powerful dodger, and Caputo's a multi-threat. You know, he's a passer, penetrator.
Bador right there, you saw him, number 5 on the short stick. Over here to Owen Caputo. He feeds up front, tried to get it to Dyson Williams. Goes Wansing, but Duke will chase it down. Sean Lowry now puts it back in play as the offense now has 20 to shoot. Carpenter spins back upfield, shoots. Save made by Russ Bolt. That's number 1. We'll keep a counter on that throughout the rest of the day.
This will be interesting right now. Duke's a good riding team. They typically press out when you bring the ball across the midline. So here they're pretty sedate. They'll back up, and then now is when the trouble starts, right here. This is where they press out.
This is Ray Barry, the close defender.
That is the challenge with clearing against Duke. You bring the ball over the midfield line, and they suffocate your attack, and then press the ball carrier.
Although a nice job riding here, gets the ball right back to Richmond. That was Richie Connell, the freshman, who's scoring a ton of goals, 12 goals already this year for the Spiders. Does a nice job on the check to get the ball back to Richmond.
I like him a lot. Tell you, Connell jumps out on tape. freshman out of Colorado via the Hill Academy.
Adrian Nash now trying to find his way to the cage. Back to X.
Yeah, Nash scored a goal earlier this season, watching their highlights. Just unbelievable. This is not a good matchup for Richmond.
Still plenty of time to shoot. Here comes Nash with the left. And he scores! Goal number 2 for Adrian Nash. Coach Amati said he went about 1,000 days without scoring a goal. Now he's got a couple on the year.
Starts with just a sloppy Duke turnover in the clearing. Nice hustle. Connell puts the ball on the turf. And then offensively, they create a matchup. Nash has ability. He's been so banged up in his career. And you see the flash, the good quickness, change of direction, the straight overhand lefty shot down the alley. So a wonderful start for the Spiders.
Mick Burden again to take the draw for Richmond. One of maybe as many as 4 players we'll see at that face-off dot for the Spiders today as Coach Amati tries to figure out some way just to get some production there. Mick Burden sounds like he was a member of a British rock band that came over the original invasion, doesn't he? Doesn't that name sound like that? Now 0 for 2 on the face-off X. Manown, goal line extended, forced out. Riley Walsh on the field now, one of the veterans of this Duke team.
There's no shortage of serviceable players for Duke, especially offensively.
Jaden Carey's getting some playing time. You see him, number 14, on that midfield spot.
They're going to make your job tough tonight. They play tons of guys.
They do, out of that midfield. They're running everybody out of the box. That's Brian Smith, former face-off guy, now a two-way midi for Danowski. Here's Jaden Carey. Shot and a score! That's Riley Walsh. His 3rd goal of the year.
Walsh is now a senior. It's hard to believe. He played a ton as a freshman. And he just puts this ball right in the perfect spot. I mean, look at Rustball. He turns, he can't believe it. The ball like ricochets off the far post down where it bisects the dirt. You talk about a lucky strike for Walsh.
Nice one, the lucky strike here in Durham. I like that. Tobacco industry help build this city. Joe Stein now in to take the draw for Duke. They've won all 3 of them to start this game.
And none of them have been close. That's the main fire that Dan Chamati, who's done such an amazing job at Richmond, has got to put out right now.
Manown tried to come upfield. Cut off nicely by Jack Cook.
How can you win a game when you're losing 80 to 85% of the faceoffs? It's hard. I mean, you think about T.D. Erlin at Yale and Bailey Savio, what he's doing at Loyola, winning 23 out of 25 against Rutgers, and it's just so hard to overcome that disparity.
Well, they lost 19 of 22 draws against Notre Dame. Jack Bolt is there to make that save.
Charlie Leonard for Notre Dame's an exceptional player. And that Notre Dame defense is as advertised. They'll play Maryland this weekend. ACC certainly stacked this year.
Stacked, and as always, playing a tough early season schedule. We've had a lot of great games here in February already as we turn the calendar to March. Syracuse and Hobart later on tonight, an interesting one. We'll see how for real Hobart is entering the rankings this week.
It's a great Simmons-Krause Trophy. You think about that rivalry, and this year it looks to be high scoring, what should be a fun game for the fans.
Knotted up at 1 apiece here between Richmond and Duke. Mitch Savoca trying to get to the mouth of the goal, cannot. Forced now behind it.
Who can beat their man? Who can run by pressure?
Savoca scores! Beat Turner up and high, and it's 2-1 Spiders.
This is not bad defense on the corner. Savoca back and forth like a yo-yo, leaning in. Gets his stick upfield. And watch the defender's reaction. Look at him turn. And you see that hesitation when he looks at you? I know what that feels like as a goalie. It's like your defender telling you, you should have had that one.
Well, Upgren turned around to see if the ball was in the back of the net. I think he felt like he should have had that one. Jacob Griffin now taking the draw for Richmond.
The worst stares I ever got were from head coach Dave Petromala when he was a young defender.
Yeah, you don't want that.
His man scored and he thought I should have had it. Eesh, do not make eye contact. We'll go for a stroll.
Joe Stein wins that draw.
That man was upset at me.
Duke with another possession. 7-1 Duke with the ground ball advantage at the start of this game too. A lot of that on these face-offs.
You know, that adds up. It's body punches.
Dyson Williams, pass deflected. Gets it through to Bador. Here's Owen Caputo. He gets free left. He scores!
Tell you, this kid
got a knack.
Caputo, as a sophomore, has had a monster month of February. 2-2 tie, Richmond and Duke.
These two teams have a history, Richmond and Duke. Last year in the NCAA tournament first round, Richmond was able to hang in there early, but Duke built the lead, and then the Spiders had a furious comeback queue in the second half, just fell a little bit shy.
You know, they were down at least 4 goals and made a rally to put this game within reach, but time ran out on the Spiders, the SoCon champs, and John Danowski and Duke advanced to the quarterfinals where they beat Notre Dame in an epic game and then advanced to championship weekend where they lost another 1-goal game. You talk about playing close games, but the SoCon has been really competitive with the ACC in recent history. There's no reason to believe that this game won't be close.
I mean, Duke knows it with Richmond and High Point in previous years, and Air Force to open this year with the win here at Koskinen. You guys did High Point at Virginia the other night. It's a High Point team. I'm thinking coming into that game queue down this year, you know, Troutner has gone to the PLL. He was such an important player in goal for them last year, and lo and behold, they give Virginia all they can handle right down to the wire.
We've seen Air Force, I've seen High Point, and now Richmond. That's the 3 top teams in the SoCon. You'll get to see Jacksonville in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, right here against Duke.
You know, High Point's got a lot of talent. They're great in transition. It's a little different from Richmond. Richmond's is an excellent team in the settled situations, the man-to-man, the really buttoned-up zone. Highly skilled, probably can't run from end to end as well as a High Point.
I love Buckshot at High Point, too.
Oh,
what
my
a
gosh.
fun player to watch.
What?
Emergence.
Yes.
Coming out of nowhere. He's going to be great to watch the rest of this year as the SoCon at the top of that conference is tough.
Very tough.
Richmond tried to go with the pole, Sean Menges, on that last draw cue and still lost it to Duke. So Dan Chamati's trying just about everything he's got in the quiver.
Can we win the game if we don't win any faceoffs? Okay, it's going to require a Herculean defensive effort, goaltending. Your riding has to get you extra possessions. You can't foul. You got to win 50-50 grounders like right here.
Boys, play. What a play, because Brian Smith came out of there with it, and Brett Reed, who leads this team in ground balls, Q was able to snag that one right out of the air and cause a turnover.
And now take care of it. Duke's ride, it's not Virginia effective, but it's pretty darn good, especially when you bring it over the midfield line like right now, okay? As you're executing your substitution, Duke's still kind of pressing out. They're not giving you any easy exchanges. Now they slough off and they'll play some half-field D.
Brett Randall, father's a coach at Nazareth. Number 43 on that line with Adrian Nash, who scored earlier, Kevin Todd. It's a good look at Ryan Dunn here with the ball in his cross. On that tap attack unit with Ryan Lanchbury, who we haven't mentioned his name yet today, and Richie Connell. Inside.
Starts with the defense and digging in. 50-50 grounder. You get the double team there and the pickoff. And then the effective clear. Now, Dunn penetrates. He can do a little bit of everything. They invert with him. And Connell jumps off the screen at you. I mean, this kid is 6'3". He looks like Lurch. He's a lefty from Colorado. He played at the Hill Academy in Canada. I asked Coach Chamati, I said, I remember watching Hill. I don't remember this kid Connell. He said, well, he was an attackman, but because they had Dyson Williams, who's in this game, Connell ended up playing on the second midfield. And Chamati couldn't believe that other teams, bigger national powers, didn't spot the talent of Connell.
And I talked with him before the game today. As we get maybe a turnover here. Loose ball. Forget about it. Straight to Giles Harris is there to snag it out of the air and carry it forward here for Duke.
Connell's going to score a zillion goals this year.
Teddy Hatfield was a great player for Richmond over the past few years, and Coach Chamati talked about Hatfield and Lanchbury having this connection, and now Lanchbury has to be the type to feed Connell. That's his new role. Instead of getting fed from Hatfield, now Lanchbury has to learn a new role to be able to feed Connell. And they're still kind of working in that transition.
And the irony to me is that Dyson Williams was a higher recruited guy who plays for Duke.
Speaking of him.
Right there, off the iron.
Williams, that was a rocket.
His teammate didn't get the chance to play in that low lefty attack position until now he plays for Richmond. Connell.
Skip pass, beautiful look.
They get the full reset of the shot clock with the pipe shot.
Montgomery. Trying to get it out to Ledman, and Ledman can't chase it down. It's another turnover.
Tell you, Montgomery's a little out of sync this year. And I mentioned that first midfield continues to struggle. They have 5 goals after 4 games as a group. And you think about Duke historically, the power that they've taken to teams in the first midfield, whether it's a Miles Jones or a Zash or, last year Brad Smith. I mean, they've always had stud first team, All-America quality top middies.
Yeah, this second team midfield unit for Duke has really been the more productive, the Bador, Caputo, Lowry line. As Richmond, in a little bit of an anomaly here early in this game, yet to win a face-off, but they lead 3-2.
This is trouble now on a run-out.
Duke on the move quickly, trailing by a goal here at home.
That run out makes your clear easier, number one, potential transition, but now you've got 3 Richmond offensive middies caught on the field. Let's see if they can sneak off, attach themselves to Duke players. They do effectively.
Dyson Williams at X.
You never want to get those offensive middies caught on the field playing D.
And now we'll get an opportunity. Sean Lowry had a full head of steam. Back out to Caputo. Draws a lot of attention from that Richmond defense. Good skip pass, though, and a goal from Bador.
Bador, IMG Academy, but look at Caputo. This is a great look. He goes down the alley, reverses his field, eyes are up, skip pass across the top of the formation, puts a strike. I mean, he put some sizzle on that pass and put it right on the money, so where all Bador had to do was catch one cradle, little hitch, and let it go. And Cam Bador's got a lot of velocity, but once again, Caputo, the key cog in this offense.
Jacob Griffin battling for the face-off, and will get a push, which will get possession to Richmond. First time Richmond has won possession off a face-off in this game. We're all knotted at 3 apiece.
Coach Chamati talked about offensively creating space, maybe using some picks to free up some guys, but really understanding spatial relations and giving guys a lot of room.
Adrian Nash now down the alley. The freshman, Richie Connell, number 23.
Not a Dodger yet. That'll be his game when he fills out. More of an off-ball shooter right now.
Randall can play some attack with a shorty on him. Beautiful feed. There's Nash! And a goal! redshirt senior Q in his 5th year, making the most of all the opportunity now that he hasn't had to play because of injuries. Now his 2nd goal of the night.
He's got magic, okay? He spent so much time in the training room getting healthy, trying to get his body right. Look, you'll see this effort's just a blind shot. He scored a goal earlier this year against Marist. Check that, against Navy. His goal against Navy was unbelievable.
Wow.
And that was a thing of beauty. Backhand shovel shot from a guy. It's hard not to root for Nash after what he's been through injury-wise.
Jacob Griffin continues to take draws for Richmond. Violation against Duke.
Look, Richmond's very capable. I said earlier, they were leading Maryland 12-7 in the 4th quarter. They beat Marist. Okay, Marist came back and beat Army.
Hammered Army.
Richmond beat Navy. They went on the road last Sunday. Balls with Gallagher, or 18 here. And really got ambushed by Notre Dame last Sunday.
2nd half was not a thing of beauty for the Spiders. Shot over the top of the cage by Savoca. Stays with Richmond. Still 50 seconds to shoot, plenty of time. Final minute and a half here this 1st quarter.
Man-to-man defense from Duke. Got to clean up some of their off-ball decisions. When to double team, when to rotate behind it.
Tyler Schultz, one of the leaders of this Richmond team. Coach Shamati said he had to bench him in the 2nd half of that game against Notre Dame. Just mentally was not there, not in it, but he said he had a great week of practice. Down the alley, switches to his line, he scores! Just like that! The leader responds, and the advantage is now 2 goals for the Spiders.
The subtlety and nuance of a dodging midfielder who's very in control. And watch how he works the double team man. He looks at him, pumps it, sees it coming, and turns away. By holding the ball up in his stick like that, he gave the defense the impression that he was going to feed. Instead, he hits the brakes, 360 spin, celebrate on the sideline.
You can see the way his teammates celebrated with him when he came to the sideline. His 1st goal of the year. Here's a guy, senior, had 62 points for his career coming into this year. Just 3 assists on the year in 4 games.
Coach Shamati telling us that he was their best player by far in the month of January. But for some reason, when the game started, it didn't translate on game day. That moment there may be his launching pad. Time now, you got to be aware of clock and score. How much time's left in the quarter for Duke?
Caputo down to Joey Manown.
Richmond switches to their zone defense.
Final 30 seconds of this 1st quarter. Manown staying behind the cage, looking for maybe a little 2-man game with Caputo. Caputo comes upfield looking for a cutter. Tried to get it to Cameron Moulet. 5th turnover of the 1st quarter for the Blue Devils. 10.8 to go for Richmond.
Be aggressive here if you're Richmond. Send this one towards the goal, and if you're an attackman, crash the goal. Crash the crease. Send it in.
And a shot in! You set a cue. Just somehow, some way, get it in the cross of a short stick D midi right on the doorstep. Brett Reed.
It's a tangled web we weave. The clock is ticking. You got nothing to lose. Just send it towards the goal. Defensively, you got to check sticks. You got to deny your man the ball. What a turn of events.
The Spiders come into Koskinen and give the Blue Devils all they can handle in the 1st quarter.
You're down in the field during warm-ups and you're looking at some of the athletes like a Tate Gallagher, like a Connell. I mean, this team is really starting to look the part as a national contender. Yeah, it's one thing to get in the playoffs, but winning a game or 2, and I don't think it's too long for this Richmond team to be dreaming of championship weekend. As you see Coach now working with the iPad, looking at some sets, whether it's offense or defense. Like everything about what he's done down in Richmond.
Richmond scoring a goal in the final second of that first quarter for their largest advantage of the day, 3 goals, and they get a face-off win. Jacob Griffin winning his first draw of this game, so everything going the Spiders' way right now.
Duke's defense has been lifeless, okay? They've gotten beat one-on-one. They've been hesitant to double team, and then some decision plays, they seem just a half a tick behind.
Duke has been on, or Richmond rather, has been on target shooting too. Q 6 of 8 shooting the ball. When they've gotten their opportunities, they've made the most of them.
Gallagher's a nice looking player, 16 in blue. Good height, decent wheels. He's a 2-end midi. I think he's a pro down the line.
Nice move on the dodge on the shorty. Slide comes, but Gallagher still has his head up. Part of a lot of experience on this first midfield unit for Richmond.
They're not in any kind of rush.
Schultz. Shot deflected. Over the top. It'll stay with Richmond. They'll have 9 to shoot.
Beware of field balance here late in the shot clock if you're Richmond.
Dalton Young comes upfield to pass. Picked off nicely by JT Giles Harris. Here he comes.
Yeah, that's not the kind of giveaway that leads to an easy run out. This is trouble.
2 poles on the offensive end for Duke. We'll get a flag here against Richmond. Delayed call. Richmond will have a call go against them here on the next whistle. So an opportunity here for Duke to work it. Lowry is a big kid, isn't he?
He's no longer a kid, he's a 5th year. Grad student.
Big dude.
Foxborough, Mass.
Owen Caputo. Coming off the Lowry pick. Up and under, and he just misses the page. What a great move, though. I was about to yell goal.
He's the party starter now, isn't he? How shifty is he this year? 13 in white.
We'll get the call from our officials.
Blue 40, interference with the cutter, 30 seconds. 40 blue, interference, 30.
Interference call against Sean Mangus. He'll sit for 30 seconds. It's not good for this man down unit either for Richmond to have Mangus in the box, but penalty box, but that's where he'll go. Our officials, Hans Whittelberger today, Danny DeLugo-Zima, Sonny Ziegler. Fairly clean game in that first quarter. First penalty of the game here in terms of a man-up situation, opportunity for Duke. Caputo over to Baddour. Looking for cutters. Still with Caputo. Here's Baddour. Richmond back to full strength. Williams inside scores. That'll be an even strength goal. Key nice cut by Dyson Williams to get the
JP Bazile picks up the assist. You'll see 16 carry behind right-handed. And Williams just flashes to the backside post. That's an assignment mistake by Richmond. Defensively, when you're man down, you're always covering inside out. Dyson Williams, freshman out of Hill Academy. Super talented, has got a bright future. Looking more and more comfortable. Shooting left-handed is his strength.
10th of the year for the number 9 recruit from inside Lacrosse in last year's class. 6'4", Duke cuts into that advantage. Griffin now continuing to battle at that X. Richmond's going to have to figure out a way to muck it up, Q.
They're going 2 poles in the wings. They took such a defensive posture on that in terms of their wing play that when the ball kicked free, they just didn't have any players in blue jerseys anywhere near the ball. Dan Chamati kind of blamed himself for the Notre Dame face-off debacle. Charlie Leonard got the best of the Spiders.
Which is nothing to be ashamed of. As you said earlier, Leonard, one of the top face-off men in the country.
But I think Coach was more like, what could he have done to maybe even that battle out, to tilt the scales a little, strategically. The three-man face-off strategy.
Well, they've had another week to work on it. Without their top face-off man, Andrew Hamilton, who's now been out for a couple of weeks.
Can your draw man...
Quigley gets free. Bounce shot. Nice save by Russ Bolt.
Good job by Carpenter to get in Russ Bolt's face after the clean save, because he had some deep outlets open. This is trouble for Richmond here.
They've got 6 seconds to clear it, and they do. Tim Adams. Short stick D midi, now backs it out. Richmond will take their time, complete their substitutions.
Thought this game could be high scoring, but it seems like the pace has really slowed down now in the second quarter. Methodical, long possessions.
That could be part of Richmond's game plan here, don't you think? They don't want make-it-take-it situations with Duke in that face-off X.
I thought both offenses could score in this game. I was thinking over the total.
I know you were. What else were you thinking over? Well, the Notre Dame Maryland game this week, you were swearing that was going to go under.
Notre Dame and Maryland, they play 6-5 every year, don't they? Like for 5 years in a row, didn't they play 6-5?
Total's going to be. Let's go!
Referees talk it over. Spiders brought their fans today, and they're pumped. This is great.
Brett Randall, what an unbelievable move. Let's see the save first on the other end.
Bouncer on this grass. Come on, man, that is something else. Russ Bolt, smooth. And here at the other end, it's just a wing dodge isolation. Is it a dive? No. You're not in the goal mouth. Good call by the officials. Once again, Duke's struggling in their support packages. Do you double? Do you not double? And if so, somebody's got to help out the on-ball defender.
There you see the Spiders have spread the wealth tonight.
New goalie for Duke as well.
Yeah, Turner Upgren
gets an early exit.
Andrew Bonafide now is going to be in net after Upgren has made just one save in this game so far. So Kostanowski making the move to put in the sophomore net finder Bonafide.
But I just think Coach Stanowski's looking for some energy. He's looking for some edge. He used that word when we were talking to him pregame like 6 times, like edge and edge. Duke's a really good team. They got a lot of really good players from good high school programs. They're well coached here. But there's a certain killer instinct and edge that's missing with this group right now.
Testing Bonafide early.
I think he's leaning on his seniors. There he is. Chilly night here. And he's concerned. Again, it's a journey. It's the growth process. It's never going to be easy. It's no big deal that they've lost 2 games so far. There's a renewal every week. He's continually trying to get the best out of his guys.
As we said in the open, they had a
push the right buttons.
Really impressive win. After they lost here to Air Force, they go to Denver and win on the road and looked really good in beating Denver. And then exacted a little revenge against High Point. Came back here. Bonafide gets beaten. And right now, this Richmond team, and Tyler Schultz gets his second. They're just hitting on all cylinders. They're right on the target. They're 8 of 11 shooting in this first half.
8 of 11? That's absurd. 8 of 11. If you do anything in life, 8 of 11, it's pretty good. I mean, that is a dodge where you just turn blindly and fling it over the defender, knowing the goalie can't see it at all. Great mojo and energy on Richmond's bench. I don't care how many goalie changes you make. It's not on the goalie. This game's not been on the goalie. Like to Turner Upgren's defense, this game's on the Duke defense. They got to start winning some matchups on the perimeter and double teaming with authority. And they got to start flying around and making some plays.
They have to keep winning at the face-off XQ to get back into this game, and they do again. Ginder wins it to Smith. Because that's an area where they clearly should be dominating, and they need to continue dominating throughout the game to give them possessions.
Owen Caputo, 13 in white, seems to be the guy right now. I mean, he's the guy playing with the most confidence.
Jaden Carey's got a lot of speed, number 14 out of that midfield spot. Here's Caputo. Try to get it to Williams. Ball batted down, turnover. Richmond in a little bit of trouble here, back to Duke. No call on a push. Some of the fans here from Richmond wanted to get it, they won't. Walsh on the field now, that midfield unit for Duke, along with Jaden Carey. And Caputo, here's Carey, looking to dodge. Caputo challenged.
Excellent adjacent help. In the zone now.
Shot. Saved by Rustbolt. Fresh shot clock for Duke.
This will be tough for Richmond's defense now to defend back-to-back 82nd. Your legs start burning, you get cotton mouth, communication becomes an issue.
Dyson Williams, Rustbolt is there.
Important clear because you played so much defense.
5 saves for Rustbolt. QU said he would have to make at least 15 saves in this game. He's got 5 so far, and his team leads by 4 goals. Number 13, Kevin Todd now. Wow, checked beautifully away. Now we'll get a call. Oh, that's going to go against the Blue Devils.
Leishau, nice two-handed wrap check, apparently a hold. He's a physical, tenacious, nasty short sticker, 55 in white.
Called a hold after he dislodged the ball, so it was a loose ball hold, just possession to Richmond. Randall with the double. Now he gets rid of it up top. Richie Connell. Ooh! Crossbar, straight up in the air. Big battle for it.
Nice rebound.
Trick on the Blue Devils. Shot! Rustbolt is there.
He's pretty good, huh?
That's amazing. Basile, though, gets the loose ball. He'll try and get something going quickly.
Check up, call numbers. Duke's got numbers out of the box.
Yeah, here comes Montgomery if they see him. Montgomery will dodge with the left, just off the target. Basile backing it up, though, stays with Duke. We'll get a timeout from Richmond. Dan Chamati wants to talk about it. What a performance so far by the Spiders. Up 4 goals here at Duke. Q here at Duke. Duke had 25 turnovers in their last game, a loss to Penn. Q, they've got 6 so far today.
I mean, just watch this reel right here. There's some simple plays. A couple force feeds to the crease, guys trying to make a play, but just a general sloppiness, disregard for the ball safety. Again, throwing the ball to guys who are covered, not being clean. And you look at Richmond, the way they've shot the ball is really the headline today. 8 of 12 shooting. That in itself is beautiful. I mean, in the sport of lacrosse, what do you want to get to 30%, let's say? Anything more than 30% is going to be good.
Jack Rustbolt has been as advertised in net for Richmond. He's been sensational. And as we thought would happen, Duke certainly has owned the face-off X, but they hadn't gotten much out of it. Just 4 goals, even though they've gotten all those possessions and have a huge advantage in ground balls.
And they're not going to panic. They're deep. They're built to play four quarters. Didn't finish the game against Penn, but I think today there's no reason to think they won't get better as this game goes on because of their legs.
CJ Carpenter, been quiet so far in this game. Basile trying to feed in front, does. It's the crossbar, fresh 80 to shoot for Duke. Got a few pipes in this game already.
Richmond zone. Basile, big number 16 in the game, is a feeder.
Williams to Nakai Montgomery on the short stick, trying to make something happen with his speed and quickness.
That's right. He's trying to press a crease in the zone to draw 2 men. He's kind of the party starter, so to speak.
Williams, the freshman. He'll get to his left and score.
That's a confident play from a freshman. One of the top recruits in the nation. Richmond's in a zone, but look at him dodge the wing and sneak through the double team. Top side untouched. Dyson Williams.
2 for Williams tonight. Closes the gap to 3 goals. Looks like Dan Chamati is going to go with Jacob Griffin. That's his hot hand at that face-off X against Ginder.
Ooh!
And a slick move by the pole for the Spiders to get possession. Unfortunately, couldn't hook up with Ryan Lanchbury. And JT Dallas Harris was there to snatch up that loose ball. Lanchbury, the leading scorer for this Richmond team, has been quiet tonight. Haven't even mentioned his name. Here comes Caputo.
Lanchbury hasn't had many touches, you're right.
There's been others that have really picked it up. Players like Adrian Nash.
I mean, it looks like
Schultz.
Duke's been a little hesitant to slide, forcing Richmond to beat him off the dodge, because they are a great passing team.
Big shot. That got deflected before it got to the cage.
That was dangerous. It was good offense by Duke. Nice ball reversal.
Sean Lowry put a lot on it. Just couldn't get it through all the bodies between he and the goal mouth. Stays with Duke, though. Still 37 seconds to shoot.
This midfield is really got great chemistry.
Williams again. Richmond.
I mean, you can just see it. Snappy ball movement, ideal spacing. The second midfield is doubling up the first midfield in terms of production. Aggressive wing dodge, draws the traffic. Lowry gets that ball out of his stick. Dyson Williams now, who just reminds me of Zach Greer, another lefty Canadian who scored more goals than any player in the history of mankind. And Dyson's going to have the type of career that challenges those kind of numbers,
Big kid from Hill Academy, you mentioned, 6'2", 200 pounds. Will Bowe now taking the draw for Richmond.
I think we're going to see John Danowski run that second midfield. He's going to give them more runs, and they're going to become the first midfield. I see that happening.
Scrum at the midfield. Picks up by Stein. This is going to pick it up.
He can handle Stein.
Will Duke look to go quickly?
I think you're going to see, they'll still play their 3 midfields, but I think at critical possessions, you're going to see that second midfield. Bador, Caputo, Lowry, okay? You got 2 losses, it's still February. I don't think you want a 3rd loss in the month of February. So for a team that's been playing 33 guys a game,
right?
It's time to give your premier guys some extra runs.
Well, here's Riley Walsh playing on this midfield unit with Nakai Montgomery. Cameron Moulet plays a man up on attack oftentimes for Duke. Now he's in the game. Basile.
Like, you can't lose this game if you're Duke. With your upcoming schedule, you'd leave yourself in a position where if you lost a couple more, you might not be an at-large selection in the tournament.
Well, to counter your point with Danowski going with the units that's working, just trying to throw players out there. He's throwing waves of players out there trying to figure out the right combination.
He's offered playing time. He's been really generous with it this year.
There's Moulet trying to dodge from X. Much bigger defender on him. That ball just gets deflected trying to get it to Montgomery. He gives chase.
Chris, the best thing about playing a lot of guys is the practice the next week. Everyone's engaged. Everyone has an ownership stake. The locker room's a great place.
Tried to get it to Williams and does. Williams scores! Three in a row and 4 on the night, Q.
This is just a pass that goes awry, and Williams is faster. Look at the anticipation. When you label him as a lefty Canadian finisher, let me tell you, you're shortchanging his abilities. He's got a lot of game. You saw the acceleration and the speed, the anticipation.
How about the quickness to be able to corral that loose ball cue and then get it to his left, shoot it before running into the crease, and then avoid running into the crease.
Coach Danowski.
Matter of seconds.
Just competitive environment. Good look at 51.
You also come in.
I love the oddball numbers.
You think about this too, Q. You come in, you expect to be able to learn under Manown, Carpenter, and Joe Robertson at that top attack spot for Duke, and Robertson goes down before the season begins with an injury, and it thrusts Williams into now a much more prominent role than maybe he kind of expected he was going to have at the start of the year.
He's in a good spot because he's being, you know, he's under the guidance of Matt Danowski and Ned Crotty, okay, on a daily basis, working on his craft. He's got Brendan O'Neill out of St. Anthony's coming to Duke next year. Joe Robinson will be back from a knee injury. So this attack suddenly next year will be as good as any in the country. Dyson Williams is in a position where he could score more than 200 goals in his career, 50 goals a year. And I don't think that's very much a stretch.
4 for 4 shooting in this quarter is Williams. Rest of that Duke team 0 for 8, so he's putting this team on his back right now. The freshman getting them back into this game. It was 8-4 just moments ago. Now Duke trails by just 1 goal in the final 2 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, and defensively, Richmond's got to have their head on a swivel better. You know, when Carpenter makes that feed, as a defender, my stick's up. I'm open to the ball carrier. My head's on a swivel, so I'm seeing my man, seeing the ball, seeing my man, seeing the ball. They didn't react to the feed very well. See both. See the ball, see your man. See the ball, see your man. Your head's constantly moving.
Behind the cage to Carpenter. Gets away from Caputo. Now he's got to pick up the ground ball.
Big eye man, little eye ball.
They get a loose ball hold against Richmond. Stays with Duke. Fresh 80 to shoot now, and that's a big deal with him. They'll be able to milk this one all the way down if they want to here, Q, in this first half. And Danowski knows it. That's why he's going to go.
¿Te gustaría trabajar desde casa?
We talked about it a little earlier, Q, the Southern Conference. A lot of success against the ACC here over the last couple of years. You can even go beyond the last couple of years, but certainly with High Point's emergence last year, those 2 huge wins against Duke and Virginia. You saw High Point against Virginia just last week. They look great on the road. Richmond against Notre Dame. Air Force, we did that game, the opener here on February 1st. They came back to get the win. Dangerous. The top half of the Southern Conference is a dangerous conference. How do you view them relative to, you know, clearly the Big Ten and the ACC is still the top conferences. And then since Yale won the national title, I think you have to throw the Ivy in there as well with Penn and Cornell and now Syracuse, Princeton rather, the way they're playing.
Well, I mean, this year, from what I've seen, I like the SoCon a lot. I will say off the top of my head, I think they're better than the MAC, certainly. I think they're better than the
I think you look
America East. The top 3 are better than the top 3 in the America East.
The Patriot and the Colonial is probably what I would look at and say, how do they compare to those
CAA
conferences?
this year, I don't think is a great league. This is, you know, Towson, UMass, Delaware, Drexel, Hofstra, Fairfield. No offense, I think the SoCon is better this year than the CAA this year.
And then the Patriot.
Maybe for the first time ever.
Army off to a great start, but they stumbled against Marist. I think Lehigh's pretty good. They had so many injuries last year.
I think Loyola and Army would be the top team in the SoCon.
Loyola's pretty good, yep.
Yeah. But no, the SoCon is on the move, that's for sure. The NEC, I mean, you got 2 divisions. Hobart's pretty darn good, and Robert Morris, didn't they get smoked the other day?
St. Joe's got
again,
a pretty good start,
the SoCon
right?
I rank higher.
Yeah.
And there are math whizzes who do the conference power rankings and conference RPIs. Guys who went to math schools like yours.
I went to a math school. I ain't a math whiz. I have no.
But it's hard to, those numbers are kind of meaningless right now with 4 games as your sample size.
I think the bottom line, Q, is that
we're not at,
nobody's looking at these teams from the Southern Conference and saying and looking past them, beyond them, especially when they have to play a midweek, as you have been wanting to say.
We're very close with those teams being able to qualify for the NCAA tournament as an at-large, not as automatic qualifiers.
The test last year was
Look, if High Point, if they beat St. John's and they beat Jacksonville, they're in the tournament, I believe.
You have no margin for error, though. I mean, you've got to that to your point.
You can't lose to St. John's. You can't lose to Jacksonville.
A couple of good wins like they did out of conference last year, and then you got to run the table.
Because the bottom half of the SoCon drags your RPI down. Okay, that's the thing. We brag about the SoCon. The top 3 teams are outstanding. The bottom 3 teams are pretty darn bad, and they're not helping the top team's RPI.
One of the top teams here in Richmond trying to take a lead into the half against Duke. Blue Devils have 15 seconds to try and knock this thing up. Here's Caputo. Comes upfield. Nowhere to turn. Shoots it. Almost out of desperation. It'll stay with Duke, but just 4.2. Q.
I think that was Reynolds with the D on the island holding his own against Caputo, and we'll see another timeout.
It's hard to match.
Coach Danowski calling a timeout here, trying to draw something up with 4.2 remaining to knot this thing up. Look at the top 10 in Inside Lacrosse.
You vote last
poll.
week?
I did.
I thought it was difficult last week. I think teams with upward mobility in that grouping, Syracuse, I think Notre Dame was really impressive, and Cornell would have to be my teams with green arrows.
Well, and Princeton too. And there's always the thought, okay, early on in the season, Q, Princeton, I think the week before I had Princeton at 17. And then they get a huge win on the road at Virginia. Now, I don't have any problem moving them way up because they are undefeated. Unlike Villanova, for example. Villanova already had 2 losses, even though they had their huge win against Maryland.
One thing I will say, North Carolina at number 4, that's a joke. I mean, who in their right mind thinks that North Carolina has the 4th best team in the country? And if you do, go to google.com and type North Carolina lacrosse highlights and watch them, okay? Lafayette,
I know.
Mercer,
It's the Chris Gray effect.
Johns Hopkins, all non-top 20
It's the Chris
teams.
Gray effect because he gives them something they have not had.
A Carolina
in the last couple of
defense,
years.
quite frankly, that's not very good. Okay, yeah, they're top 10, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in that range, but there's no way they're the 4th best team. Notre Dame, and we'll see about their game against Maryland this weekend, but Notre Dame's got offense. Notre Dame's got defense. Notre Dame's got a face-off man. Notre Dame's got a little bit of everything. They've got balance in a year where very few teams can do both.
Get a very good opportunity to get a whole eye full of Notre Dame against Maryland this weekend. By the way, don't forget, we got Hobart. And we didn't show the bottom 10 rankings there. They're playing Syracuse next. Duke will get a shot. That goal by Williams! Richmond scores a goal at the buzzer in the first quarter. Williams answers with his 5th of the game as the horn sounds to end the first half. And Duke, they trailed 8-4 in that second quarter. Williams himself scores 4 goals to knot it up at the break.
Not sure how this happens. You got to be ball side if you're the defender there, face guarding your man, and somehow Williams gets underneath his defender.
Williams, but they didn't stop Williams at all. It was 8-4. He took over.
He was the only offense in that second quarter. The freshman from the Hill Academy, Canada, lefty, finishing in all sorts of different ways. Catch and shoot with accuracy, the backside, moving his feet. You know, I thought he was a little tentative in week 1 when we saw him here on their opener.
Against Air Force, yeah.
Against Air Force, and he's really come a long way in the last 4 games, and he's been the guy. 5 goals in the second quarter.
To even this game up at 8 apiece, and the face-off X, Stan Shamati and Richmond continuing to try and find a solution with their number 1 guy out. He'll go with Jacob Griffin here to start the second half. Ginder wins it to himself for Duke.
Good job by Ginder. Controls the clamp. Well-orchestrated exit. Stays patient with the ground ball and then throws an accurate pass.
And then the clear right out of the box. Here comes Kevin Quigley.
You think about the 3 things you got to do well if you're a face-off man. The initial move. Is there a counter move? But the exit is so important now, and then handling of the ball.
Guy Montgomery gets by his man. Now feeds to Caputo. Shot by Quigley. Couldn't get much on it.
Like the skip by Carpenter. I thought Quigley probably should have put that one down on the earth, like a three-quarter arm bouncer with his feet set.
There's Garrett Ledman. He'll look to dodge. Behind the cage to Carpenter. Up front, tried to get to Quigley. Couldn't, but Carpenter gets the loose ball. 20 to shoot. Now they're calling to reset the shot clock.
Why?
And they do.
Why?
That's what Dan Chamati wants to know.
I think that's a bad call to reset the shot clock. I did not see that ball go again. They're saying it was a goalie save?
Yeah, that's right. They're saying it was either a goalie save or somehow
I would love to see that again because
Montgomery, bounce shot, goes wide. Can we see that real quick here? Let's see.
Here's what they call the shot. Off his stick. No, that's not a shot. That's a bad call.
Break for Duke. So now still 65, and it means a prolonged possession here on defense for Richmond. Dyson Williams again! Six on the game for the freshman.
Duke lead. Their first of the game. The arsenal of shots. I mean, this is a catch at your waist, sidearm release to the offside hit. No goalie in America's making that stop. He has scored the last 6 Duke goals, all a little different. That one, he starts on that left wing and curls across the formation, plants his feet, and puts the ball in the perfect spot. I mean, the perfect offside hip. You kidding me?
First lead of the game for the Duke Blue Devils.
Bad reset call goes against Richmond. That's not going to go over well when they look at the film.
Violation.
Now, did they call a loose ball push? And maybe the player was pushed in the crease? Is that why they got the reset?
I didn't get an explanation on it.
It wasn't a shot. You know, I'd love these officials to, when we're doing TV games, to just be a little more accommodating and explain some calls. We had a push or dive call in the game the other day, the High Point Virginia game on Tuesday night.
Well, you want to mic up Hans Whittleberger?
Well, I just have someone come over to the bench and just give us a clear indication for the fans at home. You know, it was a crease call the other day. All I needed was he stepped in the crease, no goal.
Right.
We were guessing, was it a goal mouth violation? Was it a push?
Yep. Richmond has just one shot in the last 12 minutes. Q make it 2. Couldn't get that one on cage, though. Remember, this game was 8-4 with Richmond on top, and they were shooting the lights out. They were 8 of 11 shooting in that first quarter. And since then, the whole entire game has been Dyson Williams and possession to Duke. The field has been tilted. Richmond just isn't even getting any opportunities.
Been about 11 minutes without a goal. And I wouldn't have to credit Duke's defense. And that's just a muffed exchange right there.
Loose ball. Richmond gets possession.
You got numbers if you move it. You got numbers if you move it.
Schultz opts to slow it down. Still 22 seconds to shoot in this possession for Richmond.
So no Duke possession on that grounder. Means the shot clock's down to 15.
Spiders got to move quickly. Now inside 10. Loose ball, they'll track it down, but they got to get a shot. And instead, they opt to just let it go beyond the end line cue with only 3 seconds to shoot.
I'll tell you, Duke's bench is much more engaged as you look at Dan Chamati. Duke's bench, I'm seeing some emotion, some life on a possession-to-possession basis. You know, I watched the Marist Army game a couple Tuesdays ago. Marist's bench was celebrating every ground ball like it was the Super Bowl.
When you're trying to spring the upset, you've got to win every ground ball. You've got to win all those 50-50s. Richmond was doing everything right in that first quarter. Since then, it's been the Dyson Williams show, and possession has been tilted so heavily toward Duke, Richmond just hadn't had many opportunities. Lowry just using that physicality. Get free, big size differential with Lowry.
Like the defense by Galizia.
Caputo. Now works upfield. Get free and scores!
That stops the Dyson Williams run for Duke. As soon as 13, right here, when he turns back and his intention is to get to the middle, you gotta go if you're a Richmond defender. You've got to see how that play changes to where Caputo's going down the alley, he's not a threat, but he plants and rolls back. Boom, you gotta beat him to the spot because he's going to the goal for himself when he rolls back there. Man, this kid is upped his game dramatically from last year. His second of the game.
Richmond and Jacob Griffin just fighting gallantly at that faceoff X. The advantage is still to Duke. 12-7 for the game now as we'll get another victory by Jordan Ginder. It's just not obvious. And now the turnover gets possession back to the Spiders. Duke has done a very good job taking care of the ball, much more so in this game, Q, than the 25 turnovers they had against Penn. And especially lately, they only had one turnover here in the last, 17 minutes before that last turnover.
Yeah, that was just a pass, a little low. I think both players can improve.
Nash. Look at the quickness of this kid. He already has 2 goals in this game. Here's Dunn. Nash will look to use that speed, and he scores! That's the hat trick for Adrian Nash.
Richmond's got tons of skill. But the guys with speed, look at Nash. Afterburst, turbo down the middle. Stretchy stuff, number 7. You're back from injury.
Oh, great job, bud. Great job.
He's making a lot of noise tonight, and that goal stops just a gigantic Duke run. Remember, this was 8-4 Richmond. 6 straight by Duke.
The last Richmond goal came at the 8:59 mark of that second quarter. Almost 14 minutes, 15-minute stretch.
I thought you said you didn't take math class.
And the difference between 14 and 15 is a lot. I cover my tracks. Somewhere in the 12 to 17 minute range.
Nice. Key ground ball here.
Won initially by Richmond. But Duke and Joe Stein come out of there with it.
See, that's the tension. Sometimes I don't know if that comes through on the TV set, but that ball's rolling around the carpet. Like all the fans here, whether it's Richmond or Duke, they're holding their breath. They understand how important the loose ball scenarios are.
27-9, the ground ball battle going to the Blue Devils.
Really?
Yeah.
So even beyond face-offs,
and
it's domination.
The face-off numbers haven't been that lopsided tonight. Not as lopsided as I think we might have expected coming into the game. 13-7 right now.
So Richmond, you're saying, only has 2 ground balls that haven't come on a face-off?
No way. Oh, my word.
Who is that?
Who do you think that is? Number 51.
That's number 7.
You and I, our math skills are being put to the test right now by Dyson Williams' goals.
7. Slicing and dicing, shaking and baking. Right down whatever road is here in Durham. Main Street, because we were there today. Dyson.
What an individual performance. He apparently didn't like Owen Caputo breaking his goal scoring run. He wants to start a new one.
He's got 7. Russ, get to work. Get the media guide.
Rusty Lynn, our stats man. Dyson Williams himself is making you work overtime. 5 of those goals assisted, too. So players are finding him cutting. Big possession here for Richmond. They get the face-off win.
Very nice, very nice. Really nice. You know what I loved about that play by Jack Cook? Full speed, aggressive, take it to the goal, make them respect you, circle away from traffic if nothing's there.
Schultz. Richmond isn't going away, folks.
He started it with the grounder and the nice handle. We've still got tons. We got 23 minutes to go in this game. The tempo once again has picked up. It's a poor adjacent defense by Duke. Think about freshman mistakes. Angle play by Tyler Carpenter is just way off where he should be. He goes for the home run play to pick off the pass in the passing lane, leaving his man open behind him.
Savoca's second for the Spiders. Staying within one goal. We mentioned the face-offs, coming in. It's a Richmond team that has really struggled. They lost 19 of 22 draws at Notre Dame last week. Just owned at that X. Bad play after winning the face-off to himself. Gets this one to Richmond. 13-9 now at the face-off X. Dan Chamati would have taken that all day long if you told him that's what the tally would be here on face-offs.
He would have taken it
in the third quarter.
It was a buyer's market today here.
For sure.
13-9, I'll take it.
No question. He probably would have taken down just one goal here midway through the third quarter too.
Even if he knew he'd been up 8-4 at one point?
So. Maybe not in that case. But still, anybody's game.
Double.
Harassment. Now we'll get a call.
Oh, not going to go over well. Not going to go over well here in Durham, the Bull City.
We'll get a hold here against Duke.
30-second foul. 1-11.
Terry Lindsay.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
I like this double team. Let's see where they call the hold there as Lindsay gets underneath the arm of Tate Gallagher. I think Lindsay's Duke's best short stick defender. He's a physical player. He got really good wheels.
Harassing kind of player. I always want to say Terry Lindsay like terrible Ted Lindsay. Remember Ted Lindsay played for the Boston Bruins? You don't remember that? Rusty Lynn might remember that.
I was a Rangers fan growing up in an island full of Islander fans. It's a lonely existence.
Freshman couldn't get enough on it. Now a big battle for a loose ball. That's a big ground ball for Duke. They can kill the rest of this penalty.
Like that play. Good rebound control inside. And Rain Schamberger scoops and runs away into the corner.
Now 5 seconds to get the ball across with the midline. Blue Devils just get it across with Garrett Redmond. He's in a little bit of trouble here. Looking for help. He'll get it across to C.J. Carpenter. Redmond loses his footing. Loose ball, heck of a play by Richmond.
Oh. You got a trailer here.
Nice play by Ray Barrett.
All signs are pointing to a close game, a game that's going to go down to the last couple minutes. And what was Coach Janowski telling us? The seniors have played in 60 games. What did he say? 12 of them were one-goal games.
Yeah.
20% of their career. And he said another, almost 35% of their overall games came down to the last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Basically,
they've played in a lot of close games, even over the last couple of years. I mean, you think about last year, half of their games were decided by 2 goals or less. 9 games.
What makes the difference in a high-level close game?
Dalton Young now behind the cage. Spins back. We'll get a push here. We won't. We'll get in the crease. No push. Young just fell in the crease on his own, according to the officials. And Duke will take over.
Wow.
Second midfield unit on now with Cameron Bador, Carpenter.
Richmond's on a bad change. Now they're fine.
Caputo now with the shorty on him. He'll look to dodge.
Gallagher's a nice player on defense here, 16.
Yeah, good two-way player. Well, Caputo makes a move, though. Down low, Basile couldn't finish.
That's okay. That's okay. Caputo got the best of him, but that's where you want him to go. If he's going to beat you, it's not to the middle, it's down the side.
7 saves for Rust Bowl. Carpenter.
Lowry shoots out of that dodge, Chris. It's seamless. It's tough for the goalie to find the ball in his pocket when he turns.
Nothing Rust Bowl can do about that. Blast from Cameron Bador.
Duke's got some shooters.
Cameron Bador with a howitzer. Little was on top by 2. Devils were down 8-4 in this game in the first half. Dyson Williams has taken over. It's now 12-10 Duke on top. Cameron Bador scoring that last goal for John Danowski's team. And our old fan Eamon McEnany wants you to be familiar with the geography here in Durham, Q. It's not Main Street, it's right down 9th Street.
We were on Main Street in downtown Durham. You know, I've come here for, 20 or so years, and we've never stayed downtown until the last 2 trips.
Yeah.
And downtown Durham is a revitalized place.
No question.
Again, it's an old tobacco city based on the brands, Bull Durham and was Lucky
Strike here, too. Yeah.
So tobacco and the industry surrounding those.
Yeah.
But the downtown area kind of fell.
Yeah, with the tobacco industry and the garment, textile industry.
In the 80s, both companies really struggled, but it's coming back. There's some really cool, individually owned, non-franchise businesses, restaurants.
Yeah, mom and pops downtown and bars and restaurants. Really working to revitalize downtown Durham. This Duke team revitalizing their offense, Q. They were down, as we mentioned, 8-4 in this game and going nowhere fast. And
it's been the youngsters, Bador, Williams the freshman, Caputo the sophomore.
Danowski made a change in goal in that first half to Bonafide. I don't think he's had to make a save.
No, defense been much better. They ironed out some of their perimeter issues. The double teams have, it looks like their adjacent defense for the most part has been just making better decisions. That's what he told us. He says, we are making the worst defensive decisions that I've seen.
Now trying to work his way upfield.
It's the hardest part of playing defense.
Connor Drake, first time we've mentioned Connor Drake today, loses his footing, gets it back. Basile coming upfield, he scores! He's had a good game today, 4 assists and now a goal for Basile.
He's a really good change of pace. He's in this game to attack the zone as a feeder. Tall number 16, whose dad was a great passer, played for Navy. Basile kind of pushes up past the goal line extended, and he realizes that the double's not coming. So I'm going to go to the rack. Garden City, Long Island, man, you talk about one of the premier hotbeds. They start those kids young in that town. I mean young, 2, 3, 4. Michael Krause, his dad and family, all from Garden City. I mean, I would have to put Garden City up there as one of the top 5 high schools all time for producing college players.
Nice win by Jacob Griffin, winning it to himself. Early offense for Richmond just doesn't happen. Now JT Giles Harris just harassing Ryan Lanchbury. Big ground ball. Duke has forged their largest lead of the game here at 3 goals.
Guess who gets this ball? 3-on-3 in the corner. It's JT. £610 deadlift. What's your max?
Crazy. Not even. I mean, that's like 3 lifts for me to add up to 610 pounds. He lifted so much on the deadlift in the offseason. Coach Danowski said, that's it. We don't need to add any more weight. You're just fine. Duke looks like they're fine now as well after a big scare in that first half. Winning the ground balls, owning time of possession.
Like their off-ball movement now on offense. Everybody's in the right place. Moving the ball, moving their feet.
Ledman tried to attack the cage. Then he got shut off. It's going to be a turnover, and that's something we haven't seen that much of from Duke in the second half. They've been much better taking care of the ball, but that time it goes to Richmond.
Yeah, Ledman's in a little bit of a funk. He's got a lot of talent, and it's all there. I think his dummy dodge from the wing, and look, sometimes your job is just to draw the defense and get them in motion. And you know you're not really going to the goal, but you act the part. He actually overacted and put himself in treachery, and then threw a handcuff pass to the man at X. There's a fine line there, you know what I mean? Make it execute the fake dodge without overcommitting and getting yourself in trouble.
And Carpenter was in a bad spot trying to receive that pass too.
Close to him.
Ends up being a turnover. Just 10 turnovers on the game for Duke. I say just 10 because they had 25 last week against Penn. Schultz now trying to get something started for this offense for Richmond and Q. They've just been complete. They were up 8-4 and they were hitting on all cylinders. They were 8 of 11 shooting to build that lead, and they just haven't gotten anything going since then.
I think it comes down to Duke now handling the matchups, making Richmond beat them off the dribble, off the dodge, score unassisted goals. And they haven't done it. Coach Chamati looking at the iPad on the sideline after each possession, trying to figure out what's going on with this offense spacing and the way Duke's adjusted their D.
Carpenter now up top.
A little perimeter pressure here.
Back to Basile at X. Coming off his first goal of the game to go with 4 assists. Final 25 seconds here this third quarter. Shot clock inconsequential. Lowry to Caputo. He scores!
Duke's put together a quarter and a half of the best offensive lacrosse of the year, Chris. Caputo, back and forth, straight overhand. Rustbalt goes down, he's all over this, but somehow it gets under him. 5-hole, gotta get down on it. Big night for Caputo.
As you see, third of the night, 11th on the year for Caputo. That second midfield unit continues to pay dividends for John Danowski. Baddour, Caputo, Lowry. Cleanly by Duke, shot on goal. And Rustbalt was there for that stop. A quarter that was owned by the Duke Blue Devils. All knotted up at the half. They're up 4 as we head to the fourth. Tonight with a free milkshake at the Loop because they scored 14 goals, although they still got a quarter left to play. Chris Cotter and Quinn Kesnick here at Koskinen, and they hope they can celebrate with a win. It wasn't looking that great for them in the first half. They were down 8-4.
You're a milkshake fan. You were going high and dry. This guy can put away. This guy brings his own chocolate milk for dinner. Okay. Well, that was lunch. Excuse me. Today he packs his own chocolate milk for lunch today. Duke has packed their own freshman lefty scorer, and that's Dyson Williams. He's been outstanding in this game. If you missed the second quarter, he just went off. He scored,
5 goals in the quarter.
In a row.
Yeah, in a row. And then he followed that up with a couple more in that third quarter. And then he's gotten his other teammates going, Q. Baddour scored a goal. Caputo with a couple of goals. Even J.P. Basile was able to get a goal in that third quarter.
Yeah, and I go back to the beginning of the year. We were here for the opener against Air Force. Joe Robertson, okay, lost for the year, attackman. Supposed to be their star. Joey Manown, C.J. Carpenter, Nakai Montgomery. Those were the known quantities on offense. I think tonight you're seeing the emergence of kind of the new face of this Duke team.
And you certainly continue to see, as we have all year, the emergence of that second midfield line for the Blue Devils as they continue to be efficient. Speaking of efficient, face-off wins continue to go Duke's way, although you got to tip your cap to Richmond after really struggling at that spot last week. They're much better this week, but it's still controlled by the Blue Devils. 4-goal advantage for Duke as we head to the fourth.
There's a certain relentless approach that I like from Duke tonight. They're rolling so many different personnel. So many different guys are getting to play.
Quigley got a step. Just forced behind the cage by Reed. Here's Basile, a 5-point night. Ledman back to Quigley. Quigley will look to dodge, gets free. That time Rushbolt was up to the task. Here comes Richmond.
Trailer far side. You got numbers. You got numbers.
Got it with Reed. Reed opts to back it up, though.
You know, that's the biggest difference I see in the SoCon with a team like High Point and Richmond. Richmond's a 6-on-6 settled type team where High Point's going to take advantage of that odd man rush. Saw it on Tuesday night as they lost to Virginia 18-15 in what was a really entertaining game.
So much fun to watch. And the early reports of High Point's demise coming off their sensational year last year are a little overrated.
Look, they may be better. They're 1-4 now, I think. They may be better this year than they were last year.
That ball got through to Bonafide, but he was able to gobble it up.
You know what I love about automatic qualifiers? The fact that Towson at 0-4 is still in the mix for the NCAA tournament. The fact that High Point at 1-4 still got a shot. So it grants those teams a second chance after playing such difficult early season schedules.
I remember a few years ago I covered the America East Championship Q, and it was, High Point and Albany went into that semifinals, dominant teams in that conference all year long.
Yeah, you did all your homework on those two,
right.
And then they lost.
It ended up being Hartford and Vermont for the title.
Pulled your Gus Johnson and went to work that night.
It's all prep for a legendary game, too. There's about 40 goals scored in that contest. This is an interesting call. We'll get a call against Duke. Hold against Duke when they had possession, so it goes to Richmond. Spider team that has stalled out offensively here tonight. They had an 8-4 lead in the first quarter, early second quarter, I should say. Just 2 goals since. Trying to feed it inside of Lanchbury. They're trying to force him into the action, you think, Q, a little bit? He's been quiet tonight. 13 turnovers for the Spiders.
Well, I like the fact that they gave the Dodger the middle of the field, and it was there.
Put a lot of action here. He had an opportunity for Tyler Carpenter with that pole. Couldn't get it on target.
No numbers here now.
And defensive players on the field for Richmond.
Dan Chamati said we've got to clear more space for our Dodgers. We're going to encourage guys to dodge to the middle of the field. He also talked about picks. We haven't seen as many of the two-man games. Maybe that would be the answer right now, as this offense is in a funk. Keeping things up top, not behind the goal.
Second team midfield unit on the field now for Chamati. That's Randall. Got free. He scores. Maybe that can get the Spiders going. That's his second of the night.
Middle of the field dodging will increase your shooting percentage. Randall's got really nifty and quick feet. Good move.
Kind of
Duke defense
plays attack a lot. They'll invert him from that midfield a lot, Q, to get him behind the cage.
I like the pattern. Again, he beats Lindsay to the middle, and there's no help. Okay, everybody's spread out. He gets to his strength. He gets to where the goal is big. It's a full 6x6. Buries the rock, and what? If you're a Richmond fan, you hope that's a turning point in this game. Outscored 10-2 after having that 8-4 lead.
Looks like Dan Chamotti's going to go with Will Bowe. Trying to win this face-off against Jordan Ginder. Trying to find a clean swath of turf. Ginder and Bowe battling. Bowe wins it.
Oh, nicely done. You got numbers.
That's Reed. Pass it off. Landsberry get hammered. Now we'll get the call. The flag comes in late. The Richmond bench exploded after Landsberry just got dumped.
Face-off win, 4-on-3. Little helmet to helmet there. Not that bad, I gotta tell
I agree
you.
with you, though. The helmet to helmet is the reason for the call. No? Initially, it looked like shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
To the head.
There you go. That's
This is a big call right here, Q. It's unreleasable. Richmond's down 3 in the fourth quarter.
no parole on the call. Shot just a tad bit high. You know, again, when you're hitting somebody, you're responsible for their health. You got to stay away from the head and neck injury. You can't cross-check. You can't use your hands in a punching matter. You got to, drop your hips, swivel the shoulder, and use hit this way.
We needed to have the cam on. We needed to have the booth cam on for that, as Q was showing me how to do it physically.
Yeah, it's important. If I hit you square, there's more likelihood that I'll use my helmet to helmet or cross check. So if I turn sideways like hockey and hit you here, there's much more chance that it'll be legal.
That one was not legal, according to our officials. So Matt Camille is in the box now, a 1 minute unreleasable penalty. And now Landsberry is having to come off the field, and the officials are talking to Dan Chamotti and his coaching staff for Richmond as to why Landsberry has to come off, and they're ruling that he took a shot to the head, and I guess there's concern for Landsberry's health. Ryan Dunn now coming in to the game, man up for Richmond in place of Landsberry. Key moment of this game for the Spiders as they trail by 3 goals. Unreleasable penalty to Camille. Behind Dunn. Fires it. Race to the ball at the end line, won by Richmond.
Excellent recovery by Duke's defense. As Richmond carried, they had to rotate, and they got the slide down the backside. All 5 pieces are moving on D. Get the sticks up. Knock a pass down. Block a shot.
Savoca behind a Dunn. In front. A lot of traffic. That time, we actually had Todd doing a good job in traffic just to get rid of the ball and get it to a teammate. Penalty is over as we get back to full strength. Shot just at the end, though, goes wide.
You win with specialties. Talked about what it takes to win close ball games. The little things, the details. Man up, man down.
Done. Not even close to getting that one on cage, but backing up is Kevin Todd. It'll stay with the Spiders.
Scaglione, good job holding his own. A 6'7" defender, and the fans here in Durham like the defense. That's how you win close ball games. That's a big win for John Danowski. You see him top of your screen parading the sideline.
Yep, shot clock violation. Defense holds on a non-releasable penalty. Big moment of this game. Still a 3-goal advantage.
10-man from Richmond. They had an empty net there as they were turning up the heat on the ride. Ride, Sally, ride.
Russ Bolt scrambles back. Mustang Sally. Richmond, by the way, has a player that would be, if Inside Lacrosse still had the all-name teams, Richmond has one that would be a captain of that team. Mustang Sally, freshman midfielder.
He's the Gary Gate of names, lacrosse names.
No question.
Four-time first-teamer in the all-name
Doesn't
squad.
get much playing time, though. He's only a freshman, so maybe they're thinking a red shirt in Mustang.
Midfielder out of Denver.
Basile.
Mustang Sally.
Just physically. The size of some of these players for Duke, the size advantage that they have, and Basile is one of them. Carpenter, he gets free.
Ooh, he paid the price there late,
Whistled it
too.
wide.
And a crease foul. Carpenter, it's not clicking for him right now. You know, this attack. Talk about the first midfield, other than Dyson Williams. It's hard for me to put my finger on the offensive issues, you know what I mean? Because when the second midfield with Caputo, Bador,
yeah, the top feeder, by the way, of the
Lowry.
night, the top feeder has been Basile.
those guys are, yeah, and Basile's added something, especially against the zone.
Blanchberry,
Nice shot.
Bonafini is there to stop it. His first save of the night.
Numbers here and a little delayed break.
Burke. Help comes. He gets rid of it, and Duke now will set things up. Slowing it down, up 3 goals. We're midway through this fourth quarter.
Nice job by Bonafini, who came on in relief of Upgren. I don't think Upgren was bad. I don't think the defense gave him any help. It's the second year in a row he got yanked against Richmond. His brother plays for Richmond, and I think he deals with maybe a little more nerve issues in this game than any other.
Ball gets away from the door temporarily. Now he's in a little bit of trouble on that sideline.
But Bonafini, the clean save, no rebound, good outlet. Boom, really decisive, clean.
Lowry. Get it to a teammate down low and cannot. Another turnover for Duke.
Got to win this one on defense if you're Duke now. Approaching that 6-minute mark. Just dig in, one possession at a time. A lot of communication late in the game when you're getting tired. Defense is a constant conversation.
Randall in the game now for the Spiders. It'll be Randall, Savoca, Adrian Nash from that midfield. Here's Savoca looking for Lanchbury. He makes the extra pass to Randall. Just whiffed on the shot. Now Lindsay trying to come out of there with it. Does not. Richmond gets possession back. Just into traffic. JT Giles Harris is there to knock it down, and Duke wins possession. Under 6 to play in the game. Duke up 3. Critical clear here for the Blue Devils, and it just gets away. Gets away from Camille.
That's going to hurt you if you're John Danowski. You're thinking, do we use a timeout here to get reorganized? But because Richmond's subbing. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was thinking.
Danowski gets a timeout before the restart. Richmond with the ball, and we come back down 3. Rusty Lynn, stats man extraordinaire, here with us as Duke leads 14-11 in the fourth quarter. Last Duke player with 7 goals in a game, Zach Greer, back in 2007, and that's what Dyson Williams has tonight. Russ was quick to point out that also the last Canadian to score 7 goals in a game was Zach Greer. Well, clearly, if he's the last Duke player to score 7 goals in a game, he's the last Canadian, American, Australian, Frenchman.
Nice job, Russ. Enjoyed the drive on Tuesday back and forth from Charlottesville with Russ.
He's the best stats man in the business. Richmond's got to go quickly here. Down 3, they got to figure something out offensively, and it hasn't come easy for them since the first quarter.
Man-to-man D from Duke. Richmond's got to create some space.
Fires it wide.
Doing that high, kind of that high wing dodge from the corner to the middle.
Lanchbury back in the game for Richmond, Q, number 9. He's been generally silent tonight. Took a hit to the head a little while ago. Seems to be all right. JT Giles Harris has been checking him all night in front of the crease. We'll get a flag against Duke.
Ooh, a pipe!
Hit the top pipe. And then Schultz tried a little shovel shot. Goes out of bounds. We'll get the call here.
Got a technical foul. White, 11. Hold, 30 seconds.
Lindsay guilty
White,
of the
hold
hold,
30.
30 seconds.
Second hold by Lindsay. Well, watch this shot and how close this is. You'll see the bouncer, and you described it. Here's the hold. The shot hits the underside of the pipe and kicks out.
Richmond 0 for 2 on the extra man tonight. This is a critical possession for the Spiders. Shot and goal. Freshman Richie Connell finds the back of the net. Spiders aren't done just yet. Now down a couple.
Lefty from Colorado via the Hill Academy. Plants his feet, really understands where the goalie is. High school teammates with Dyson Williams. Was forced to play midfield because Dyson was in that lower lefty spot. The two have combined for, I don't know, 2 zillion goals tonight? 8, 9?
Dyson Williams has 1 zillion on the night.
7 plus.
Bo again at that face-off X for Richmond. Spiders win it. But a little bit of trouble here with Chamati calling timeout.
What a play.
No, it does not.
Move it, move it.
They'll look to go quickly. Shot. Jack Cook, the defenseman, scores for Richmond. Back to a 1-goal game. Cook's first career goal. Gets the Spiders right back in a queue.
How do you get out of this mess?
No timeout either.
How do you get out of that mess? How about that play? I mean, you're surrounded by 4 guys. Brett Reed, are you kidding me? Does his little disappearing act. And then Duke doesn't respect the pole. Jubilation. Game on.
2 goals in 19 seconds. Now Richmond's been much better at the face-off dot. Can we get another win? They do in a push. And it'll go to Richmond. Jacob Griffin, yeoman's work at that X.
This is what happened to Duke last week in their loss to Penn. The Quakers scored the last 4 goals of the game.
It's also very similar to what happened here on their opener against Air Force. I thought they had control of that game almost the entire way, and Air Force just found a way to come back and win it at the end. Here's another goal! We're all tied up! Schultz, the man who was benched last week in the second half against Notre Dame, mentally just wasn't in it, Q. Dan Chamati said he had the best week of practice he's had since January, and he comes through with his third.
That's that high wing dodge from the corner of the formation, putting Duke in a bind defensively where they're not getting their double team. 3 goals in 37 seconds. Boom.
3:42 left, and we're all knotted up. We got Syracuse and Hobart coming up next, but we aren't even close to being finished here. Big win by Ginder. It certainly has been a game of runs, owned by Richmond in the first quarter and early part of the second. Then Dyson Williams took over. He scored 7 goals in this game, 5 of them in the second quarter. Duke looked like they had control after 3, even early part of this fourth. But 3 quick goals by Richmond has them back in it. Nice catch by the Seal behind the cage. Montgomery. That's a heavy shot. Goal. Garrett Ledman talked about how this first midfield unit really has to step up. Well, Ledman stepped up there and fired a rocket.
Richmond giving him the shot. He steps into about 12, three-quarter arm bouncer, just too much power. Too much power, too much goal, and the big smile for Ledman. Supremely talented player, staying with it, and look at the support of your teammates, man. That means everything when a guy's been kind of in a slump and a funk, and you make a big play with the game on the line. Look at it. You can just tell by his body language.
Just his second goal of the season. Richmond's won 13 of 30 faceoffs. Hanging in there. Ginder. Battling. Goes to the Spiders.
Tack's got to help out now. Tack's got to move. Great wing play. Was that Cook?
Looked like Jack Cook snagging that ground ball cue on the wing. Dan Chamati calling a timeout. Trailing by 1 at the 2:30 mark. They scored 3 in a row to tie this thing up.
Well, things didn't look good. It was 14-10. Randall scores. Connell left-handed, and then Cook in transition just lets it rip. And Schultz has had a strong game as well. I mean, this game, it's been quite a journey, hasn't it? I mean, when we started,
Oklahoma State
kind of back and forth, 3-3. 2-4 lead by Richmond. You thought that they were going to run Duke out of the park, and then the Dyson Williams. But he felt that for his guys to have success in the dodging game, they needed space, and he's done a good job of clearing all sorts of real estate for the ball carrier.
Out of the timeout, Richmond trailing by a goal. Schultz. Now JT Giles Harris comes to help out. Over to Gallagher. He's in trouble. Loses his footing. We'll get a whistle timeout by Chamati.
He saw that coming because Schultz put himself to where he was going down a dark alley, and there was too many white jerseys there, and things were going to get ugly. And Coach Chamati uses his second timeout to really salvage this possession and maybe save the game for his Spider team.
2:10 mark. Syracuse and Hobart from the Carrier Dome. They're coming up next.
That's going to be a high-scoring game. Hobart's 3-0, having scored 69 goals. Now, the level of competition comes up today for Jason Knox and Eric Holden. How good is Cuse? I mean, they beat Army, and the attack combined for 0 points. Have you ever heard of that?
Tip your cap. And Chase
First
Scanlon.
midfield was unbelievable.
You talk about the transfers too. Chase Scanlon transferring from Loyola, paying instant dividends, as you can see there. 9-3.
Strong up the middle.
Great face-offs with Jacob Fopp. Drake
Porter between the pipes. Jay Alter and Rick Beardsley have that call. Make defense great again, Rick.
They're already underway. We'll get there as soon as we're finished here. They're scoreless in the first quarter. Syracuse, I understand, just scored to put the Orange up 1-0.
I would think that game will have, there'll be no shortage of goals.
Well, maybe before we're finished here, there may be 3 or 4 scored.
It's a rivalry game. It means an awful lot to both programs. You know, I love the Cornell-Syracuse games and the Hobart-Syracuse games. They mean a lot to lacrosse in central New York.
Playing for the Krause-Simmons Trophy. You saw Roy Simmons Jr. there at the game.
I think this is the last indoor game at the Dome for a while, right?
The renovations, right? Clock ticking down to 2 minutes. Huge possession here for Richmond, trailing by a goal. Lanchberry, he'll take a shot. Finally! The junior from Burlington, Ontario, knots this game for the Spiders.
I mean, you want to know why people respect Dan Chamati? Because you make a timely timeout and you drive a set play and you got this game tied. I mean, that is an example of great coaching. Great coaching. Pull the trigger on the timeout when your player's in trouble. draw up a play that kind of mimics what you've been doing with that dodging to the middle, but you throw a skip off of it to guess who? Your best shooter. Really well done by Coach Chamati and great execution. Here we go.
Lansbury's 8th of the season, his first tonight. We're all tied up again, our 6th tie of the night, and a face-off win for the Spiders. Bonafini had to come up big, and again he comes up big. Wow! Jacob Griffin won the face-off to himself, Q clearly, and had a chance, but Bonafini shut the door.
Duke's got one timeout. Those were quality stops, especially the second one that didn't look like much, but that was a rebound. And
had a little English on it?
Yeah, Bonafini was able to make the first stop, regain his balance. Rebound control, critical. If you're a young goalie out there, for Lent, I want you to give up rebounds.
You're giving up a lot of stuff for Lent, including making fun of me, Kark, and Anish.
Especially Anish.
Get a whistle here, a timeout. You mentioned it. Danowski calling his final timeout. 1:11 left to go. We're all tied.
There's Bonafini. This face-off win was brilliant. Straight out the front. Pinch and pop in the exit. Duke's defense doesn't respect the photo. And while that shot wasn't moving at the greatest velocity, Bonafini does a good job of tracking this, dealing with the bouncer off the turf. And look at the rebound save.
Lansbury was
really
almost
nice
there to get his cross on it. Bonafini went down to get the second one and get the clear started. If you're Danowski, what are you talking about right here? What have you seen, Q, in this game, other than obviously Dyson Williams taking over offensively, that he wants to draw up here?
Well, you got two huddles going on. Matt Danowski drawing up the offense. Richmond's D. Now, the challenge for Duke is, what does Richmond show defensively? Is it man or zone? So you have to have two different offensive sets. One to attack the zone, one to attack the man. Shot clock's at 38. It's not really a concern yet. What do you like if you're Richmond? Do you like the man or the zone? With 38 to go, I'm leaning on zone, but that puts a lot of pressure on your goalie.
I mean, Russ Bolt has been good tonight, as you would expect.
But typically what you see from Richmond is they like to switch it up in the middle of the possession. So they'll start in man here for 10 to 12 seconds, and then they switch back into zone, which causes all sorts of confusion defensively.
Paul Richards, the defensive coordinator for Dan Chamati on his staff, drawing something up here, trying to get through this final minute 11.
So it's easier to start man and then retreat into a zone as it is to start zone and then match up into a man. Looks like man the way they're coming out.
Looks that way with Brett Reed here up top on Ledman.
So it's giving the appearance of being in man-to-man defense to start.
Ledman, who just scored moments ago, his second goal of the game, will put it into play for Duke. Being checked by Brett Reed, Richmond's best short stick defensive midfielder. Ledman down the alley, gets a step. Behind the cage, 10 to shoot. Quigley, he'll fire a shot wide. And Duke retains possession, but that won't. The shot clock is still ticking.
Matchup
Ledman a fire one, and Russ Bolt was there for the stop. And the outlet, the quick outlet. Here's Menges. Will he take a shot? No, he backs it back out. Final 18 seconds.
Richmond trying to sub. They're running out of time.
They're going to have to get going quickly. 10 seconds. They finally do. Schultz. Lansbury tries a Hail Mary pass in front of the goal. Can't connect with Gallagher. And we're going to go to overtime here in Koskinen. Furious finish to regulation. And we aren't done yet. 15 all. Going to the extra session. You know, as we head to overtime here at Duke, Didn't look like we were going to be 15-15 after regulation in the first quarter, but then Dyson Williams came alive, Q.
8-4 Richmond lead when the freshman from the Hill Academy in Canada, the lefty, takes over this game. He scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight in the second quarter, made it 6 straight in the third quarter. He has 7 goals in this game, and that gave Duke a 10-8, 11-9 lead. They parlayed that to 14-10. You just see him scoring in all sorts of different ways. But 14-10, and guess what happened next?
Richmond just goes on this 3-goal sprint. They scored 3 goals in less than a minute, Q.
37 seconds. Randall, Connell from the wing.
Cook with the pole. That was the juice goal that really got them thinking they had a shot. And then they also got Ryan Lanchbury involved. He'd been quiet all night. He scores his only goal of the game. And we're all knotted up at 15 going into overtime. Next goal wins it.
We thought Duke would have a significant face-off advantage tonight. Got to give Richmond credit. They've put multiple guys at the face-off X. They've changed up their wing patterns, and they've mucked it up, really, right?
Yeah, they've won 5 of the 7 face-offs in the fourth quarter to help them out with that possession battle, and they've won 15 out of 22 for the game.
Richmond's gone with double
15 to
double
32.
pole on the wings.
Is that math again?
Take a deep breath now if you're a Fogo here. Don't violate. Trust your technique.
Ginder and Griffin, who's been so good of late. Ginder comes away with it. Danowski will call a timeout after gaining possession here to start the overtime. Don't forget Syracuse and Hobart coming up next. Orange already up 3-0 in that game. The chess game continues between Giamatti and Danowski. Seen a lot of it tonight, Q, where, you know, you mentioned Dyson Williams and his 7 goals.
7.
You had Ledman scoring, Ed Badour scoring, Caputo scored a couple. Basile scored a goal, and he's been an outstanding feeder from X in terms of finding Williams. He has 4 assists on the night.
Coach Danowski with his face-off man, Jordan Ginder, low 5.
Coach Giamatti with the red hat on in the middle of that huddle.
They went man-to-man to end regulation, and it was effective. It'll be interesting now knowing got a full shot clock, 70 seconds left on the shot clock. Man or zone, zone or man. As I said earlier, Richmond likes to mix it up mid-possession. So maybe you start out man here, the 70 on the clock, rag it down at the 20-second mark, you switch into zone. Offense has to reset, which uses time.
Ledman, or you've got Badour, Caputo, and Lowry rather here, Q.
Yeah, you got to pull Caputo the way he has played this year, 13 and white. He's a matchup issue. So Lowry may have the matchup.
Here's Caputo. Back to his left. He'll take a shot. Wide.
Nice take, though, considering I thought he was really well covered and managed to shoot through that stick traffic.
Still plenty of time for Duke. 54 seconds to shoot. Joey Manown will start him off from behind the cage. Now up front to Badour. Caputo again. Working on Menges. Badour spins. Help comes. Caputo. Basile, he'll look to feed. Still 28 seconds to shoot for the Blue Devils.
All sorts of space.
Lowry. Nice catch by Caputo. There's Lowry in front.